Gym Teacher Dreams back again doing this little podcast thing. Hey, it's Ray and Ryan here, Dream Team. What's going on? We haven't talked in a while. It's been busy in the old virtual learning. So we might talk a little bit about virtual learning today. I've got some, one thing, Ray is had some sleep issues. I always have sleep issues, and I got some sleep stories that I could tell. And if he remembers any, maybe he has some too. But I have a couple good ones that you might enjoy. So, Gym Teacher Dreams, here we are. What's going on?
Not much. Yeah, I don't have any good stories about it. It's just over the last couple of weeks. Here's sort of like the pattern that I have, when I'm having issues sleeping. Like I'll go to bed normal time, like 9, 10 o'clock or whatever. But if I'm awoken for one reason or another, is that the right word? Awaken? If someone wakes me up, or if something wakes me up, I have a hard time getting back to sleep. Now, this is kind of unique, I think, for me, and especially with like the regularity that it's happened over the last couple of weeks. Like I was exhausted the other evening. I forget if it was a couple nights ago, whatever. I went to bed. I was in bed at like 8, and I think I was sleeping by 8:30. But because no one else is sleeping, like they're making noise, in the kitchen or the living room, whatever. So like I wake up at like 10 and I couldn't fall back asleep till, 2:33, whatever it was. And then the same thing happened last night. I went to bed like 9:30. Something woke me up at midnight and I was up until 3:30, whatever, this morning. I mean, so that's a little challenging then to get up a couple hours after I then fall asleep and then got to put in 8 hours of, the best of my ability, give the kids and my colleagues the best of Ray Borgman, and it's a challenge.
Yeah, I don't think I've talked a lot about it, but that's kind of my sleeping pattern. I don't sleep, and I don't want to one up you or say anything, but for years, I slept 2 to 4 hours at the most, and it was kind of iffy. It was sleep an hour here, wake up, and then I'm to the point now where I can sleep 5 hours straight, but I wake up at 5 hours. It doesn't matter. So if I go to bed at 9, I'm up at 2. Go to bed at. So that's the case. Monday or Sunday night, I was really tired, and so Monday I slept 6.5 hours. I was super tired because I didn't sleep the night before. So
Mm-hmm.
I know your pain, and anyone that has sleep troubles knows that when you're dead man walking, it's hard to function without a lot of sleep. And I didn't realize that how bad it was until I actually slept the 5 hours straight.
Yeah,
And then when those times when I don't sleep, I feel poor, and that's how I felt for 10, 15 years. It was crazy. The
I can't
difference
even
sleep,
imagine.
the difference a sleep makes. So yeah, I know. Yeah, like I said, yeah, the pain, and I 3:30 in the morning can't sleep. Okay, I've gone to community center and I worked out. I've gone to shoot hoops, in the high school, in the gym. I've taken a scooter ride, and these are things that I did.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, that's one story I forgot. So we were going to talk about sleeping stories, and mine's kind of a zombie stage, but this one, so it was closer to 1. It wasn't super late, and I decided to take a scooter ride because at night it's kind of fun. It's kind of, and anyway, I got to the road on the other side, kind of by Hobnobbers. So for those who don't know there's a big, I have to go around the road, and then there's a farm field, and it ran out of gas. So I either had to push it on the road all the way around, leave it, go get gas, which probably would have been the smartest thing. But at 2, 3, 1, whatever in the morning, that you're not very smart. Nothing good happens after 1 a.m. And so then I decided I'm just pushing it through the field. So I pushed it through the field, 100, 200 yards, somewhere like that, and then up, and then down the berm, and then back up it. So they tired me out. I went to sleep then. But my sleep is this. Here's what I do real quick. I so because if I go to bed too early, then thoughts go in my head. I can't wind down. So, and then if I wait too long, I end up sleeping wherever I was. So I wait. So it's just perfect. It's like that perfect swing in the path. I wait just in time until I know I'm tired, go upstairs so I get on bed and conk out. Because if not,
Hmm.
yeah. So that's what kind of I do with my sleep. But yeah, sleep, I hate it. Just I don't like talking about it. But when you do sleep, it's awesome.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if it's age or, coronavirus or whatever, but man, this summer I was able to do some good sleeping. Normally I'm an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy, but I was, getting a lot better at sleeping in, that's for sure. But here's the thing, there's a couple thoughts that go through my mind now. Yeah, I mean, when I'm struggling to go to sleep or when I can't sleep in the middle of the night, yeah, thoughts run through my head. I like can't shut my brain off. Um, but it's like I like last night I wanted to go out and exercise. I knew that if I tired myself out, I would, be able to fall asleep easier. But we talked about this before on a podcast. I'm a little nervous to go out, not for fear of like my life or what else is out there or boogeyman or anything, but like I feel like if someone sees me, they're gonna think that I'm up to something. If the cop drives by, like I'm gonna feel guilty immediately. Like they're gonna think I'm out up to something. Like I'm just afraid to go out for fear of being arrested for something. You know what I mean? Like we talked about this. I feel like I'm like 16 and I have a curfew still. It's a bizarre thing.
Yeah, I mean, I have Russ's legs. They're gym teacher dream nation, and Simon has that. That's it stinks also. So there'll be times where I walk around the neighborhood, for my legs to try, to calm down enough to be able to relax to sleep. And yeah, it's crossed my mind that if someone sees me like 1 a.m. just walking around the neighborhood, there'd be like, oh, there's this creep, because I've been called a creep before. If you watch
Sure.
an earlier podcast, I have been accused of being a creep. So yeah, I'm with you that I don't really necessarily fear for my life, except for there's a hawk or owl or something screeching every night when I take Charlie for a night walk, just waiting for something that's just there.
Charlie looks like a T-bone steak to whatever that
I
is.
know it. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to karate this thing that's going to come out. And I saw it one time. We were turning about 20 yards from me. I just turned and I saw like this big old thing with the wings like a pterodactyl go into the bush, and apparently got dinner. So
You think it was an eagle? An eagle going into the bush? You
pterodactyl,
think?
pterodactyl.
It was definitely a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
So your moped story, speaking of late night and what it might look like to like an innocent bystander, of the three options you laid out, you took the most creepy one. Like if someone sees you going to get gas, or like, oh, he ran out of gas, he needs gas. Someone sees you walking your bike on a road or sidewalk or something, oh, he ran out of gas, or having issues, whatever. But you walking through like the tall grass or whatever I don't know what you call it, the berm is probably the
Yeah.
best word.
Yeah.
That is like the weirdest of the options, but the quickest point between
Yeah.
what do you call that? Between two lines?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The shortest distance between 2 points is a
It's,
straight line.
and that's what I did. And
Yeah.
it
So
was
you
all,
were thinking, but
yeah,
it's just a little bit
it
awkward
was
to see.
easy until I had to push it up the hill, and then it wasn't as easy. And I thought for a second it was going to come down on me. And then here I am at 2 a.m. with, I got rolled by my moped, and I can't get up. And that would have been embarrassing. You
Yeah.
know,
And then one more thing. So this did happen
gym
last
teacher
night.
dies by moped. Uh,
Right.
yeah, tumbling over him. Yeah.
Um, so when you're up in the middle of the night, do you think about who can I text? Is so and so awake? Could I call so and so? Like I was thinking, I wonder if Pick's awake. I could probably call Pick right now.
Not
But
last night. No,
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 you were
I
out.
was sleeping. Yeah, 1 o'clock. I think I fell asleep.
All right.
So part of this issue, as we started talking about sleep, if I have a couple sleep stories. So I don't know if any of you, or you, Ray, ever sleep eat.
No, never.
So I have some medication that makes me a little sleepy, and because it's just what its job is, try to help me sleep. Uh, the doctor told me when he gave it to me, he said, if I took that medication, I'd be deep in for 10 hours. That's what he said.
And
Hey,
that's how
by
he
the
said it.
way, this has nothing to do with it. I just remembered I want to talk about it. Shout out to Tyler Madden, big fan of Jim Teacher Dreams podcast, and
Yeah.
and him and his buddies are going to start their podcast. So he was asking some questions to the professionals. That's our number one in our podcast tree. We have a podcast tree now. If they start it, they asked us about it.
Yes.
They've watched the podcast, and it's got them. We have a tree now.
Awesome. We're like Bill Walsh of football, but we're the Bill Walsh of podcasts.
Yep. First person
Awesome.
on. So, yep. Shout out to Madden. Anyway, going back. So sleep eating. So it's like I'm not sleeping because I know I'm doing it, but I will come down to eat. And whatever's on the counter, I will gnaw on it. So if Preston leaves chips or crackers or I'll gnaw on and
Charlie snack.
no, but not yet. But so I'll eat, and then Heather will be wake up in the morning because my quarantine/summer routine was I wake up around 5. I'm up for a little bit, and then I take a nap, and then I'm napping when she gets up, and then when I get back up, she's like, Ryan, look at the floor. And there's just crumbs everywhere. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
So at one time I thought I was, I had to use the restroom, so I got up to go, and I thought I was going through the door, and it wasn't the door. It was a corner of the wall that hit me right in my eye, or I hit it with my eye. So it gave me a little bit of black eye. But going back to this last one, this is the best one is, so I'm I'm eating some chips. Preston, for some reason, sleeping in the living room, and he yells, "Dad, stop eating."
Mm-hmm.
So I hear him, and I just keep eating. But anyway, I got thirsty. Yeah. I was thirsty. When you eat chips, you're thirsty. So I go and I grab something to eat, or excuse me, a drink. And so, I take it, and as I start to lift it to drink it, a little drip came on my lip, and it wasn't really anything that you drink. It was green salsa. So, and I don't like salsa, people. I don't like any of that stuff. So I stopped it. It woke me enough not to drink it, but it was brand new. So I had to take the plastic off of it, unscrew it and it was, it was a tiny little, it wasn't a cup. It was a little bottle of green salsa that I just was going to chug. And I remember everything about it, but I can't stop myself. So anyway.
Like Preston or Heather could play a mean trick on you for sure. They could leave inedible stuff on the counter. They could, put.
That's true.
Yeah, something bad in place of like where the milk would be. I mean, it could. Yeah. It could get ugly.
Yeah, but they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't change my big presentation for a master's degree class to, either as you would, or did. I'm sorry. You did.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was way less mature back then.
What episode was that? Yeah, that's the same thing you said last time. As you continue to
laugh
about
it. Yeah,
it's funny. It's funny. Yeah, I tell a story now because Mrs. Lewis, who was in our class.
Yeah,
I asked her. I said, Mrs. Lewis, do you remember? And she did.
Yeah.
She thought I was being funny until I got super red and embarrassed. But yeah, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about sleep. So yeah, so you and I both feel people's pain, and like my wife. Oh, you want to talk about that, or?
Well, you just hold that thought. You mentioned the master's courses. I keep thinking that this is so bizarre. How that one teacher, he always talked about podcast, and we thought it was hilarious at the time. And now here you and I are taking over the world by way of podcast.
Yeah, and that's how he said it every time there.
Yeah, every time.
Jim Teacher Dream Station. It wasn't like, hey, I was watching a podcast on. It was podcast. You guys have seen one? Anyway, so I'm going. Yeah, so I was in. Whoa, boy! Now I don't remember what I was. What was I? What were we talking about?
Your wife.
My wife.
Dang it. Master's class. Lewis. Your wife. This is my fault. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It happens. Okay. Lack of sleep. You forget things.
Yeah. and
Um,
age. I think I've been,
th- that's
yeah,
what they say. Yeah. So sleep, and it's a very stressful time. I mean, there is a lot of the stress level in the schools, for all you don't know, is very high. This virtual learning stuff is new and it's very challenging. I mean, it's a lot of work. So yeah, people need to sleep. Teachers need to sleep, and they need hugs because it's stressful, especially day one. For example, and Zoom crashed for many schools.
yeah,
And then for us, I thought for sure that Sycamore, just the power was just going to come off. Everyone was going to turn on at 9 o'clock and no power, and it was going to be the purge. Just everyone's going to go crazy. But apparently, it was fine.
yeah.
You
I
know,
agree. I was expecting the worst, and day one especially, everything just went really, really well. Knock on wood, and the rest of the week has gone pretty well also because like you say, there's a lot of new stuff. There was a lot of information that was sent out. Those couple weeks before the kids returned. And I was feeling overwhelmed. I don't know if I said this on a podcast. I don't think I have because we haven't been together for quite some time.
right?
But like towards the end of last week, I was like sensory overload. I couldn't learn any more about technology because we were getting like little bits of so much new technology. And I just got to the point where it's like, just give me one and teach me that one well. But I was just getting little bits of so much stuff that it was like overloading my little bitty brain, my gym teacher brain, and I was, close to meltdown, I would say. And I was very honest with our department chair, and I said, I just very honestly just can't take no more. I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to focus on this one. And we were learning about Google Meet and sort of the extensions and the little intricacies. Is that the word?
Yes.
And then so I was getting kind of excited. Oh, it can do its own attendance and this and that. And then they're like, oh, well, we're not going to get that extension, or that extension's not ready. I'm like, what in the world? This is crazy. But then, like we had alluded to earlier, day one we turned on the switch and like everything worked and it ran smoothly. And I do feel a lot better now about where we're at. To put
No.
it kind of in coaching terms also, I mean, it makes sense educationally where you shouldn't give little bits of so much stuff. You should kind of spoon feed, give one idea and then build from there. In terms of coaching in football, you're not going to run one or two plays out of the wing tee and one or two plays out of the spread and one or two plays out of the I formation and one or two out of, no back and one or two out of wishbone. You're going to have one thing in theory, like good teams have one thing and they do it well. They do it rock solid, right? That's my philosophy anyway. So this is no different. Why would you learn a little bit about so much instead of just streamline it and learn that really, really well? But whatever.
The thing that
It's
is,
going well now.
now that a lot of people are virtual learning, there's so many resources and so many cool things you can do, and so many things have been developed. Yeah, that you want to try some of it. We had some issues
Yeah.
at South Prairie, and I know there's some issues at some of the other elementaries. But day two went way better. But it's all day. It's working all day. You know,
Yeah.
so like I said, we're trying to do our best and provide, but there's a lot of patience. Need a little
Mhm.
patience with
And
it.
I don't know if our YouTube watcher, because there's probably only one,
Yeah,
notices the lighting's different. We're doing this one pretty late, later than we normally do, and that's kind of bridges off of what you just said, where we're very honestly, this is truthful, just putting in more hours and different hours, and the podcast got put on the back burner, and now we're here right before bedtime trying to pump one out.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, Ray didn't sleep last night, so he's not. He needs his sleep. All right, look at
Yeah,
that face. That's his moneymaker. When you don't sleep, when you don't sleep, you know, you just
you don't make
moneymaker don't.
money.
Yeah, you don't make no money. More money,
I
more
did.
money.
I'm not saying that
You're saying that you're
like
moneymaker.
no.
Oh,
That drugs and medication are the answer, but I did take what's that stuff called? Melatonin. I
Yeah.
took 3 milligrams of melatonin
Yeah.
tonight to kind of prep me to get hopefully a good night's sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
tried
thought
this.
about taking it last night, but it was just getting too late. I can't sleep through like my alarm or whatever. I was like, I went all natural, figured I could make up for it tonight.
Yeah. I have some sleep medicine. When I don't, it doesn't, when I don't take it, I'm up. It's a couple hours. So yeah. Uh, Part of life. Old, crazy. Anyway. Anything else? I guess
Well,
it's a
I don't
Chronicles.
have sleep stories or whatever, but Rhino, the Slayer, and Jonathan, they would get night terrors, and
Ooh,
that is scary. So I
yeah.
don't remember. I mean, I remember Rhino having them, but it was like, kind of whatever. It didn't seem to be my problem. It was like mom and dad and Ryan, they can figure it out. I'm gonna go back to sleep late. But then when your own son has them, it's like a different level of concern. Sorry, Rhino, but and so he's sleeping, but he is walking. Like you're. I think you do.
Yeah.
And then he's talking, and he's sort of living this dream very vividly, emotionally, but he's somewhere else. And you can try talking back, like talking to him. And he's like, it seems like he's scared of something. He doesn't anymore, but when he was younger, it was relatively regular. But it's been the longest time since he had one. But he would be like scared about something or whatever, and you just couldn't talk to him. It was like a blank look in his eye, like you could see right through. And like it's like you weren't there. He could kind of hear you, but it wasn't like comprehending or processing. It's a really scary thing. I mean, we kind of ended up getting used to it when we realized what it was, and you just kind of soothe them and calm them, try and get them back,
Yeah. You
hold
don't
them,
you don't want to wake them up. Just watch
right.
Step Brothers, man.
And that's true. That is true. They
I
say you
know.
don't want to wake them
Yeah.
up because it could startle them and it, freak them out. And so yeah, just I remember, just holding him and kind of rocking him and soothing him and saying it's going to be okay and stuff is bizarre.
I don't think I had night terrors, but there were, a couple years couple years back when I was struggling, there was a couple nights where I thought I heard noises, and they were.
I'm sorry.
Uh, so yeah, so I'm up, I can't sleep anyway, and all of a sudden I hear this voice, and I'm like, and so, and when that happens, I don't know about you, but the hair on my neck goes up and everything, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And so then you want to look around, but you don't move. So you just laying there and you just and so but then another night was worse. So I thought I heard a voice. It was probably just my mind saying, put your clothes away. Or it was load the dishwasher after you're done eating. That's what it was. It was just coming from my mind. It wasn't, I didn't hear it. But
Right.
anyway, there's another night where I kept hearing stuff in my room, and I was super freaked out that night. I think I got up and I had to wake up Heather, and she had to hold me tight. But
Yeah.
no, I didn't get up. That's right, because I was too scared. I thought, I don't know what it was, but I thought there was something in my room, and I kept hearing this noise. And I've had mice, and when I was younger, we lived by a farm, so I've had critters. Kind of, you hear that kind of. It wasn't that. It was super scary for like 30 minutes. I
Yeah.
almost thought about trying to knock myself out, punch me in the face until I knock out. Yeah, yeah. Just keep doing it until I knock out. Or I fall asleep. I just remember I had another good one. Last story to sleep. But it was similar in that. Similar in that. Oh no, It was dream. Probably a night. Is I was in bed, but the dream felt so real.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was living it. Like you talk about the night terror. I was living it, and someone was in the house. It wasn't our house we live in, but I was living there, and it just there's another night it freaked me out because it just felt so real, and
Mm-hmm.
like you said, the emotions. And I told have I told my dream story on this?
Probably not.
Okay, this one's really good one, people. Okay, person, whatever. So, I went to sleep. Heather used to wait tables before she got her teaching degree, and so I went to bed, and all of a sudden, this 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 old guy, this naked old guy, started coming towards me, and he was old. I mean, wrinkly,
Yeah.
big old saggy balls,
And you're
and
not
so
talking about his. Yeah. Okay.
no, so imagine old skinny guy with the saggy
No,
balls,
I'm not going to.
and he kept getting closer to me, and he kept getting closer to me, and then
He gave you a hug.
and then as it got close, like the balls were like in my face, and as it happened, it scared me, and I jumped 6 feet, and what it was I was dreaming, but it wasn't an old guy with saggy balls. It was my wife coming home to give me a kiss, coming in and give me a kiss, and when she did, I mean, I jumped way off the.
Oh.
Yeah, she said I just freaked out. I mean, but that's what I saw was this old guy naked coming at me and
Oh.
with the view. So yeah, that's another story that's a good sleep story.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh man,
Glad we're ending on that one.
Yeah, a couple of times she scared me really bad, but that one I was dreaming of, and I don't know what I was dreaming, but that's what I saw. You know, dreams. Have you ever Googled if you had a dream? I used to dream of last thing. I used to dream of being. I always dream of being chased, and I always can't run, whether it's I've injured leg or I just can't move. And a lot of times it was in a church, so I'd be trying chasing someone, and someone was chasing me in the church, but I never got caught, but I never really could get away. So
yeah, I think that's a common one. Yeah.
All right. Well, you need to go to bed, and you good?
Well, I do need to go to bed. I'm very, very sleepy, but when you say that, it just makes me wonder how bad I look, you know?
Oh no, you don't look
Do
bad.
I look that bad?
No, I just know that you need to sleep.
I need to shave too, I suppose, and maybe get a haircut.
I do too, a little bit. I just know that when you get tired, you need to sleep. Anyone does.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been the Chronicles of Sleep and a little bit of virtual learning, Gym Teacher Dreams podcast. Next time, it's like I haven't talked to you for weeks, and so I let 2 people cross the crosswalk in front of me just after practice tonight, and it was Mikey. I'm like, Mikey, we need to get you on the podcast. And he said, anytime. So
yes. Did he tell you we talked recently?
Yeah, you told me because I just screamed at him because he was just walking across.
I'm gonna ask you. He seemed very, very sincere. He calls me like a couple weeks ago, whatever, and he seemed very sincere. He asked how I was handling this whole coronavirus thing. And I said, I think I'm doing all right. It's, kind of worked in my favor because I'm an introvert and I was kind of, in isolation. So it kind of worked for me. And he's like, yeah, I figured you'd be one of those people that'd be really like weirded out about this whole thing. I'm like, what are you saying? I thought he was being sincere, and then he was just using it as a punchline to make fun of me. I figured, whatever.
Come on, it's all right. He's earned that right. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, did he say he got a job over by me though?
No, he didn't tell me.
He's gonna have to move into my neighborhoods. Dude, wouldn't that be something?
Okay, I told you he was in the crosswalk. He walked as he walked. I saw that was Mikey. So I rolled down the window and screamed out my window, and then as he went past, I screamed out the other window at him. So that's all the conversation.
It's like surround sound.
Yeah. All right, Gym Teacher Dreams podcast. Thank you for listening, watching, and
next time you're up in the middle of the night, text or call a friend, and you tell them about the Gym Teacher Dreams podcast.
Yeah,
tell a friend,
or just watch an episode. There's some good ones in there. There is. All right, we love you. We miss you.